It's on everything that we do. We talked about pavilion improvements. We put $50,000 in for that. You know, hoping that we can kind of expand that, you know, work on that so we can make that better for all of us and enjoyable, you know, and make it safe and things like that. Put $30,000 in for the Big Apple restrooms. Hopefully we can get some restrooms maybe on the backside. Kind of talk to the Lees about that a little bit, you know, kind of in conjunction with what they've been, and they're all for it. And the walk, or the bike path, we put in for $50,000 for that too, just since we were putting things in there. And they were real receptive, and they really want to work with us because we're being really aggressive with the CIB. I mean, really aggressive with the CIB, and they're really interested in helping us if we help ourselves, and that's kind of the big thing. Some of the long-term projects that we've got, you know, in mind, always working on the water system. We still, you know, now that we finished this first project, what it's done, it's exposed a whole bunch more projects, or a lot more projects. Well, basically, we've got some substandard lines that we want to improve. Granted, a new tank would be nice, and that's in the long term. Yeah. But what I'd like to see get done is if we can upgrade these 2-inch water lines so that we can get those up so that, you know, we've got fire protection everywhere. And we've got a plan in with Jones and DeMille to help us define those, and that, you know, so that we can present that project to them. So the water system.
That water line down River Road is,
well,
many.
Sure, we've got that one. Well, you know, we've cut that one in half too, and there's some other ones that we've kind of been working on. Basically, that's kind of the capital improvements. The DOT meeting, we met with DOT, oh, I don't even know what day it is, they're all blurring now. But anyway, we met with them, Monday? It was Monday. Okay, we met with them on Monday. What we want to do is slow the traffic down through Torrey to 30 miles an hour, make it consistent throughout the county. We've got 2 towns where it's 35 miles an hour, in Lyman and in Torrey. And what we were hoping, our discussion with them was to get it slowed down to 30 so that all the towns are 30, so it's consistent, and we can start getting people used to that idea. And
a little history on that, Natus?
Sure.
When I first come down there, I was told that the speed limit was 30 down here.
Oh, it was.
It was, and it was 55 through Fremont to the river's end, and it was 40 through Lyman. So I went to DOT. When I was out with folks, it requested that they change those other 2 to 30. So what they do, they come up and set up a kid with radar down here in Torrey and said the average speed of the cars was 35, we're raising the speed limit. Oh, that's how they do that. And at this time it was 55, and I went, the national speed limit was 55 in the early 80s. I went back to DOT and I said, well, the average speed on the freeway is 65, let's raise the speed limit. Well, we can't do that. I said, well, why did you raise it in Torrey then? It was probably in 83, 84, but it was 30 here when we first came down here, but I'd requested them to do a deal because they had 55s on it around the turn and past the old river's end in Fremont, and then a 40 in Lyman, and that's what I requested for some way to come to Torrey. So I'm the one that got the speed limit raised to 35, I guess. Just by a mess up.
Thanks, Don.
That's the history of that deal. I went back to Pete Montz and
well, basically that's our idea, and I think they were very receptive.
It should be
because we've got. I mean, we get
really
a lot of traffic going through there, and it gets pretty scary.
It should be now, but that's how it got raised to 35.
So we're working with them, and so I think they were really receptive to that. And also, they were talking about this bike path, or at least a walking path, and they're really receptive to that as far as so they can widen the shoulder.
Good.
That's kind of what, you know. So they're really open for that, they're pretty excited.
It would be nice.
All the way
There
through
gets
the
somebody
town.
killed out there when we did.
Well, you know, our concern is right down
Down
here,
there through the
and if
town.
we can get them, and, you know, so there's a big, you know, part of that. And, we've got a meeting with the bike path people.
Look, on
What's this?
15, that's just her,
Oh.
when you get to that part,
Okay.
yes, and